I think I've spent far too much time trying to defend myself and my own being, whatever that might be. So I think about this a lot in terms of me. I want to impress other people so much. I want to make other people like me so much that any moment where people um, where people sort of push back or they have their own beliefs in how things work when I say something, and I see this a lot more as I am more in the public now. Not a lot, but more in the public. When I see people that push back, and they might have a valid point in how they operate. But what I'm trying to do with the whole reciprocity project is to really be descriptive and thoughtful in terms of how I feel and in my experiences. And much like as you would, as if you're a scientist from many years ago where you would keep a journal. I don't know if you remember, at least this was important in my scientific upbringing, is that part of the scientific method was to keep a journal and and write down everything. And as I am building the reciprocity project, I'm realizing that this is not necessarily me talking on podcasts and doing YouTube and doing as much social media as possible. It's not really advertising as it is telling my story and how I feel and the experiences that I go through in the sense that a scientist would 100 years ago or 200 years, well, 100 years ago, where they would write things down in a journal and describe all of the stuff that they go through. And I think that this is a lost art when we've focused so much on publishing and doing all of the stuff to find find evidence, I guess, in modern science. We don't journal, we don't talk about things. And so as I'm building the reciprocity project, as I'm building this platform, um, I, I'm open about who I am and what I experience, and it often is not what people want to hear. Often it's a story of, and I think that there's a lot of people that are like me, that it's a story of an outsider. It's a story of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. It's a story of somebody making a lot of mistakes. It's a story of, um, I wish I could do things like how you see how things are so simple. Um, I think about all of these things, right? So I think about, if I was at a different institution, I put myself in and I sort of compare myself as somebody that was like at the Harvard Business School or MIT or one of these institutions. It's easy for them to get access to somebody that could build a platform for them and they simply write. But that's not my experience. That's not what I'm going through. And so I have to find somebody in India because it's all under my dime. Nobody is willing to step up. So it's up to me to do this. It's me going through this. And if you can't see that this is my experience, that yes, I am an outsider. Yes, people don't know, may not have known who I was 2 years ago, but now because I'm doing this, maybe they know me a little bit more, but I'm still an outsider. I still went to in the academic world, if you didn't go to the top 20 institutions or even top 10 institutions, the Harvards, the University of California, Berkeley, all of those kind of places, if you don't go to them, you're essentially often locked out of the market. And so I didn't. I went to Canadian schools. was born and raised in Canada, and I went to really good schools in Canada, but they're not the schools that the academic market sort of recognizes in the same sort of way. And so so by the way, the Ivy Business School and the University of Waterloo, they're really respectable, good schools. But I've since learned that that is not necessarily the sort of standard way of doing things. And so what I need to do is tell my story and know that yeah, I am often an outsider. Yeah, I am often very shy, and I don't want to speak up a lot of times because I feel inferior. I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. Um, yeah, it would have been great to be in a place where there was, I'm at an institution now that is not the norm, but it would have been great to sort of be part of that. So what do I have to do? Given all of this, I'm a shy person normally. I have to figure out ways to do this myself. I have to figure out I'm not the kind of person that's going to be wheeling and dealing and finding somebody to do things and all of that kind of stuff. This is me, my experience, and this is what I'm going through. And sometimes that experience is not what other people view. Sometimes it's maybe a painful thing or it brings up emotions. Um, my experience is that I have to write a god awful amount. That's the whole reason why I'm building the reciprocity project was because I had to write so much. I was like, well, there's got to be a better way. I can do this. Um, and that maybe doesn't jive with some people that don't have those experiences. But from my view, I do have those experiences. And, no matter what, I need to work on being me. I need to work on saying, hey, this is my experience. I wish that this was a different experience in the sense of, um, everything sort of clicking and it becoming, so easy and all that kind of stuff. But that's not my experience, right? My experience is that I work at things a lot. I have to write things a lot. I make a lot of mistakes. I've experienced a lot of rejections. Um, you know, People don't come up to me at conferences, maybe not until the last few years. I experienced that last year, which was kind of really fun. But, normally people don't do that. I'm kind of hidden. Um, and, you know, what I'm getting at here is my experience of what is going on. And I wish that other people would sort of get a sense of this is just what's going on in my life. I work a lot. And working usually means writing, whether it's for the Reciprocity Project, which you could see clearly. There's like 3,000, 4,000 different videos at this point, getting close to that. God awful amount of writing, and it's still, a little bit, right? It's not what people want. It's not this big thing. Um, so what do? I write more. That's the only thing I know that actually works. I don't have the connections. I started with the developer as the only person that was following me, the salesperson from the developer. And this is my experience. So I wish everybody would know that this is it. This is me. And despite the fact that you might not agree with it, this is what's happening in my life at a given moment. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.